Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, this is a very special edition. We're back at one of our favorite places in Vancouver, Granville Island.
If you're a regular viewer of the show, we hope you are. We have been here a number of times, Lita, over the last 3 years, and every time we're here, we say the same thing. I didn't know that was here. How long has that been here?
I know, and I was saying to Kate Simpson, you're going to see soon on the show, that you could be here 2, 3, 4, even 5 days and not see all of what Granville Island has to offer.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, Kate Simpson was with us late last year for a special Granville Island After Dark episode.
That was fun.
What is Kate going to show us this time? You'll see after this. Well, one of the great draws to Granville Island is live theater, live performance. There's so many options. We're standing in front of one of the icons of this island. It's the Arts Club Theater.
Yeah, and Kate, there's a lot of theater here. Give us a little peek, and then I know you're going to be taking us on a journey.
Yeah. There are 7 theaters.
7.
On
Wow.
Granville Island.
Wow.
So hosting plays and musicals, TED Talks, concerts, all sorts of kind of different performances. One of the most well-known theaters on the island is the Arts Club Theater. That's right behind us, and it's so well known. They now have 3 altogether. They've got here on Granville Island is their original. Then they have the Stanley Theater
Right, of course,
on
yes.
Granville Street, beautiful building. And then the newest one is over in Olympic Village. But I should tell you that all the scenes, the sets, all the props, everything for all 3 of the theaters are done here. So the Arts Club Scene Shop is here on Granville Island. It's a beautiful, huge scene shop. It's full of carpenters, and it always smells like fresh wood and all sorts of great things that are going on. Yeah, over here. So yeah, I don't think that there's a theater more well known in the city than the Arts Club.
Yeah,
the Granville
yeah.
Island stage. I just saw a great musical just last week in here. It was so much fun, and they have a really talented group of actors who work a lot at the Arts Club.
And you were mentioning the review stage as well.
Yeah, it's a small stage, but most people don't know about it. It's actually just tucked right across from the
Right
Arts
behind
Club
us,
and behind
yeah.
us. And it's used by a lot of our festivals. The next big group to use it is probably going to be the Writers' Festival. They do a lot of really great Q&A pieces with their writers.
Nice.
In that theater.
When does that take place, by the way, the Writers? Because we're talking about, I mean, it's year-round here.
October.
Yeah.
October, we love it when the Writers' Festival is on the island. There's usually a lineup at every single venue. The writers are all here. They usually stay over at the Granville Island Hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like a 24-hour festival for us, but it's so interesting, the Writers' Festival. They do a myriad of different kinds of events. You know, they might interview some of their writers. They might have the opening gala. They do bars. They do all sorts of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to do a little journey now around the island and check out some of the other great theaters here on Granville Island.
Well, Kate, we find ourselves in an area of Granville Island that is kind of theater row, for lack of better words.
Yeah, it is a little bit. The theaters are spread around the island, but right here, it's concentrated because Festival House is right behind us. And Festival House houses all the offices and the administration areas for the Writers' Festival, for Children's Festival, for Fringe Festival. So many of the folks that work in all the theaters here and run the theaters here are based out of this particular building. So the Performance Works, for example, their offices are actually down here at Festival House. Festival House also has its own theater company in here. Boca de Lupa is one of our small, really quite avant-garde theater companies on the island. They're based here. Their performances, however, are all across North America. They travel a lot with their productions. There's 2 theater companies in here. We're going to go and see one of them a bit later on today, the Nest and the Fishbowl. And they're 2 little tiny theaters, quite intimate performances. The Fringe Festival is doing some rehearsals up there at the moment. We're going to go and have a little look at one of the rehearsals.
And also you've got we've got Carousel, which is more for the kids, correct? And you've also got Waterfront. Talk about those two.
Waterfront Theatre, right beside Festival House. It's right behind us as well. It houses all sorts of different performances. Carousel Theatre is over there quite a lot if they need bigger space. Some of the music performances, Fringe Festival uses that venue, the Writers Festival uses that venue. I've seen TED Talks over there. There's all sorts of different musical events over there at that theatre. And then across from them is Carousel Theatre. And Carousel Theatre is the theatre that does children's performances, and they do children's classes, so there's lots of theatre classes over there for kids that you'll see. There's some really great child and teen productions happening on the island, and that's all based out of Carousel Theatre.
Yeah. I should say too, I mean, obviously it says a lot about your relationship, your office and these different theater companies, because obviously they're long time relationships, yeah?
Yeah. Most of them have been on the island for decades as well. And you know, it's hard to think where they would be if they didn't have Granville Island and they didn't have the space that we have for them here. You know, it's theater world needs a lot of support.
Yeah.
It's great that we're able to give that to them.
Well, I've stepped away from Lita and Kate for a few minutes. Back here at the Arts Club Theatre, Granville Island stage. Peter, I get that right?
It's the Arts Club's Granville Island stage, because we're the Arts Club Theatre Company.
Okay. Well, I'm with the guy who runs the show here, Peter Kathy White, and you're the executive director here.
Yeah.
Set doing some great stuff behind us here. Another show
right.
coming up. One of many you have done in this spot for 45 years. Give us a little breakdown on the history of this wonderful company.
Well, the Arts Club started in '64. We used to have a space down on Seymour and Davey.
Right.
And we needed a production shop, so we ended up squatting on Granville Island in the early '70s and took over a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then the conversation started around the Granville Island becoming what it is today, a real hub for the community. So we were a founding tenant on Granville Island in '79 and have operated this theatre on Granville Island for 45 years.
The changes, and Kate has introduced us to the changes in many of the episodes we've done with her, the changes around here, the attraction of this for talent and theatre, local talent, which is great. Talk about how it has grown over the last 45 years.
Oh, definitely. You know, the Arts Club started as a small company.
Yeah.
We were a local theatre company created by local artists. And when we came to Granville Island, it really expanded our operations. This made us a large theatre company. And since then, we've also acquired the Stanley Industrial Island stage on Granville Island. So we now have 3 stages, but Granville Island is really our spiritual home. It's where our production shop is. This is our theatre. When I first started at the Arts Club 20 years ago, all our offices were in this theatre, in this space. So it always feels like you're coming home. And for the local artists, I mean, the Arts Club Theatre Company is the largest arts employer in this community. We're the largest theatre company in Western Canada, and we specialise in local talent. Like, we commission local playwrights to do plays at this stage and our other stages, and the actors on our stages are local. We believe in supporting the local ecology for artists, and as does Granville Island.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and this is year-round here. I mean, we've talked a lot about how great it is in the summer here, but the things we are seeing are year-round, including you guys.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's our 60th season next season, and we've got the Mum's the Word Collective, which is a group of local artists, women who wrote these fantastic series of plays that the Arts Club has commissioned, and we're doing a Christmas show here at Granville Island. And it's beautiful because we've got a beautiful lobby space out there, and you can see all the carol boats going up and down Falls Creek before you see the Christmas show. And then we continue through the year.
I was going to say, and it really is everything too, isn't it? Do you cover all genres of theatre, right?
Yeah. We like to program, as Ashley Corcoran, our artistic director, calls it, conscious eclecticism. So we like to back up shows against each other of different genres and different styles. So you're always going to, get a little bit of a pick-me-up at the Arts Club.
I like that. Well, there's so much to see on this island. You, of course, I would infer my words, kind of the iconic theatre on this island. I want to thank you for having us in here for a little sneak peek. So we mentioned some stuff happening here. They're getting ready for another play, but thank you, Peter, for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
laughing, having a good time here.
Well, there's crows here
there's
too.
crows,
There's
you know,
resident
who
ravens.
loves crows, yeah. Yes.
Pete's telling us all about the residents here.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking a break, as you can see. We've been walking all over the island. We're out on one of the many patios you can find on Granville Island. This one belonging to Off the Tracks. A little coffee, some sort of orange drink, and then an island lager for me. Kate, one thing we should mention is we're talking a lot about the theater scene here, live performance, but it's also surrounded by lots of options like we're doing right now. Patios, restaurants, cozy little spots. You can make a day out of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you sure can. And you know, performances, theater, dining really does go together. Now we had a really casual option, of course, over at the public market courtyard,
Yeah, right.
or actually even inside the public market if you want. Both areas are licensed for what's called open consumption, which means you can bring your own bottle of wine, or you can pick up a nice bottle of wine from Liberty Wines, a nice cold sake right behind us at this artisan sake. There's a new sushi place actually over in the public market. That's a good combination, some sake, some sushi outside. That'll be really nice. So nice and casual. Cheese from Benton Brothers, Oyama meats, a little beer, a little glass of wine, but we have 11 different restaurants on the island. Lots of them open for lunch and dinner as well. And, you know, going to the Improv, they often do packages with Vancouver Fish Company. I know the Sandbar restaurant does packages with the Arts Club. So dinner theater packages are available, but you know, just a little quick stop for bite to eat or have a really nice dinner before or after one of the performances or one of the theater or one of the events on the island. You really do have kind of everything on the island. It's not just, I mean, it really is the arts and culture center. It's not just that though. There's so many dining options, and it's a little bit more peaceful than sort of if you're downtown, particularly in the
Oh
evening.
yes, we come onto this island, because we both live downtown. It's like there's just the stress level goes down and the calm comes up, and there's like lots of great options. It's good to see the restaurants are also putting packages together as well.
But it's interesting, summertime people know there's lots of performances, outdoors, everything. But your festival season and your performance season goes into the fall quite strongly. Tell us a little bit about these that are upcoming.
I would have to say that the festival season, performance season is year-round. We sometimes have as many events going on in January as we have in June. What we don't have is the outdoor events.
Yes.
Right, of course.
So the kind of events that you just sort of come across by surprise, which is one of the things that happens on Granville Island. One of the more delightful things that happens on Granville Island. You walk into a particular area and there's a dance performance going on, or there's a music performance going on, or we've got some students from the film school up to something.
Nice.
Ballet BC is doing some kind of rehearsal. The Arts Umbrella kids are up to something.
right,
So in the
right.
summertime, you really see that because a lot more is brought outside. But in the winter time, we've got, right now we'll go into early fall. So we've got the Fringe Festival.
It's one of your bigger ones, isn't
It's
it?
a big festival. It's got, I think 60 different events on the island while it's here, and it's a real range with Fringe Festival. You get a lot of emerging artists putting together big pieces, small pieces. You know, the Fringe Festival was the very first festival to really come back after COVID.
Oh,
and
yeah?
they were only the only performance group who didn't stop during COVID. They came up with some really, really clever ways to do their
that's great.
outdoor performances.
Yeah.
So we love when the Fringe Festival comes on the island. There's this sort of creative, slight weirdness that happens on the island when Fringe comes on. So love it. From there, we go right into Writers Festival.
Yeah.
And Writers Festival probably has about 60 events as well. And Writers Festival is at every venue on the island, and it could be small, sort of more intimate conversations with a writer, one-on-one interviews, much bigger settings. They even have this really great single malt Scotch tasting that they do as part of one of the fundraisers that happens during the Writers Festival, and it's fantastic. I have attended that. And then as we get into the winter, we've got Solstice, the Lantern Festival happens. We've got, it's not a festival, but I'm going to mention it. One of the things that we do with one of our outdoor spaces, it's called Ocean Artworks. It's covered and it's lit and it's dry. So we put a great big giant skateboard ramp in there.
Yeah.
And then all the kids that are local in the area, it's open every day throughout the winter and all the school holidays, all through the Christmas holidays. And the kids who are local, they all come and skate on down here and they get free, secure, covered, supervised skateboarding all through the winter. So that we actually use one of our venues. That sometimes the jazz festival's in there, sometimes the Fringe festival's in there, sometimes Pride festival's in the Ocean Artworks.
Yeah.
And then in December, it's a skateboard ramp for all the local kids.
Nice. Now, flamenco, definitely you need to mention. And then
Flamenco,
tell us a little bit about the Push Festival.
Push Festival's in January, so it's another festival that continues on. January's got Push Festival, it's got the Lunar New Year Festival. It's still very active down here. Push Festival, lots of smaller events, interdisciplinary kind of theatrical events that they put together, really interesting combinations, some really smart kind of productions that happen down here. Again, they're all inside, of course, at that time of year.
Yeah.
I think every festival on the island has a certain amount of free events as part of it. So there's really no barrier to attending the events down here. So if you want to just come down and take in a jazz concert or something at the Fringe or something at the Push, you are going to find something that is free to the public to come in, and you're also going to find ticketed events as well. But it just means it's just very open and available to everybody to sort of enjoy the culture that's down here.
Well, we're going to finish up our drinks here, and then we're going to get back out and see some more of what goes on here on Granville Island with Kate Simpson.
Hi, my name's Peter Cathy White and I'm the Executive Director here at the Arts Club Theatre Company, and we're at our Granville Island stage and you're watching Our City Tonight.
Well, you're looking at the Granville Island Hotel, an iconic location here on Granville Island. Kate, we have worked with you a number of times where that has been a stop on our episode. It has been here forever. You worked there many years ago.
Many years ago.
Talk a bit about the hotel and what it offers, because we were there last November with you on the Granville Island After Dark episode, where we, I think, showcased a restaurant that a lot of people may not have known is there.
Yeah, Dockside is a lovely restaurant, very elegant, and they have, I think, one of the city's most beautiful patios.
Yeah, they do.
It's right out on the water behind the hotel, off the restaurant. We wouldn't have seen it; would have been open last time we were in the.
But great view of the boats, and you see all the science world and everything. It's fantastic.
It's a lovely hotel. I'm not going to say underrated because it gets great reviews, but it's a single. It's a single owner hotel. It's not part of a chain or anything like that.
Which is unique in this part of the world.
You don't hear tons and tons about it, but it's sometimes a little bit of a surprise to people that we have a hotel on the island.
Now, if you're watching at home, to our right or your left at home, we've got Performance Works, which is a part of the Jazz Festival here every summer, but it does a lot more.
Yeah, it's one of the busiest theater venues we have on the island. Performance Works. It hosts, galas. Dr. Peter Center does the big Dr. Peter Center fundraiser
every year.
It's done. It hosts Writers Festival. It hosts all sorts of things. And it's probably best known for the Jazz Festival. It does a lot of the Jazz Festival events and venues because it's a beautiful music venue. It really lends itself well.
Acoustically, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it does. And you can open the doors and windows. It's got a little amphitheater up on the grass right behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And you could just sit out there and take in some of the jazz, even if it's a paid performance. Bring a little picnic, sit on the grass, and you can hear what's going on at the Jazz Festival.
There's a very funky, cool place behind us, which will be hosting a one-evening event. Tell us about the building and this Pushpa.
Yeah, they fun. This IE Creative is behind us, and they do a lot of really beautiful artwork where they do welding, big metal pieces. You can see them often. They've got a gorgeous one over in North Vancouver in Edgemont Village that I've seen a couple of times now. And then if you know that little funky, little moving, I don't know, what do you even call it? Outside Ocean Artworks.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I
Anyway, the little funky moving piece that's outside Ocean Artworks.
Yeah.
They did that. They're a really talented duo, the two of them, and they're hosting a Chutzpah event in January.
what is
So
that?
we're pretty excited about it. It's going to be an artist that works with. Of course, Chutzpah is one of the big Jewish festivals in Vancouver. We don't have the whole festival on the island, but there's an artist that's coming in. She does a lot of work with metal work. It's going to be a really interesting, just small one-off performance. But we're really pleased to have them on the island.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Check this wonderful area. I mean, you're just everywhere.
These little one-offs are everywhere. I mean, we're talking about all the festivals and all the performances and all the big venues. But one of the nice things about the island is these sort of one-off events, these one-off performances, either something you come across, a bit of a surprise, or something that is scheduled, but it's only a single performance that's on the island.
Yeah.
And of course, we're able to support so many of the artists ourselves down here. So you'll see people have their first opportunity to actually do a live performance on the island because we've been able to support them with the venue or with the location that they're using.
It's very cool, actually. I think one of the running threads over the last 3 years working with you and some of your partners on the island has just been how embarrassed I've continued to be, having lived here for about 25 years, and not knowing the depth and the amount of things you can do on this island. Just walking around with you and Lita today, you're showing me stuff I, again, didn't know was here.
Yeah, well, it's 40 acres.
Yeah.
There is a lot. I think also what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the arts and culture that goes on in Vancouver, it's really hard on the artist to find that space and to have them afford that space. So Granville Island is a huge supporter of arts and culture. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the artists and the performances, it couldn't happen without our support.
Yeah.
So we're pretty delighted to welcome the artists and the general public down for all the performances here.
And well, you can't see it off camera, but there's a whole bunch of people getting on tour buses. I mean, this is Canada's #2 destination.
Yes, it is.
For tourists and for locals. So yeah, wonderful. Well, Kate is back with us again. We're about to wrap things up here on a beautiful sunny day here in the courtyard of the public market. This all looks great, Kate.
Kate, we're so excited, and we've got some amazing food and drinks.
I know.
Tell us why we're able to sit out here. The new initiative. Tell us. We're so excited.
You might be a little surprised to see us with a glass of wine in the courtyard of the Granville Island Public Market. You can have wine or alcohol of any kind. We call it open consumption. Well, how fun is this? This is actually
Explain this to our viewers, actually.
This is a little margarita pouch from Alimentaria Mexicana. That's their idea of a margarita to go. Isn't that like?
Very handy.
Fun?
Very handy.
I know. Yeah, we picked up a little bit of salsa. We picked up some chips.
Jim's really doing the Mexican theme over here, and then we've got
this little vignette alone is all you need,
yes,
right?
I'm going to be forced to share, of course, but
I know. Well, I picked this wine up, this rosé up from Liberty Wine Store just around the corner. You can bring a bottle of wine from home. You can bring a beer. Really, because it's such a foodie destination here on Granville Island. Popped into the market. We picked up some beautiful cheeses from Benton Brothers, some pate from Oyama. We got a nice rosé. You could be bringing some sake from Artisan Sake and picking up some sushi. Really, a burger and some beer from Granville Island.
Yeah.
So really, it's such a food experience here. It doesn't make sense that you couldn't have a nice glass of wine or something like that at the same time.
Exciting.
Yeah.
you know what's great too, Kate, is that this is such an international destination for tourists, as is Vancouver, that I was just talking to some Europeans that, they're going, this is great. We've had this where we live for a long
Forever.
time. So it's nice that they can come here and feel like they can, have a glass of wine, obviously drink responsibly, and enjoy an afternoon with some great food that you guys went in and purchased about 8 feet from here.
Well, it does sort of make it feel a little bit more European, doesn't it?
Very much.
Just because if you're from the US or if you're from anywhere in Europe, Australia, it's not unusual to be able to have a glass of wine or bottle of wine if you're going to have some nice cheese. And, it's a beautiful local cheese. What a nice way to experience it, just sitting out here in the sun in the courtyard. just making sure the seagulls don't come too close.
We have our eyes on the seagulls. It's all
true,
good.
but it also promotes community because we've been chatting with the people beside us and on the other side of us, and
exactly.
it's just wonderful.
And of course, because food and entertainment go so well together, food and performances, it's a really nice way to do a very casual dine and theater experience.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're down here for a performance during the day or something that's a little bit earlier in the evening, just come down to the public market, get some cheese, get some pate, bring a bottle of wine, pick up a bottle of wine. And this is a really nice sort of casual way to go over to the Arts Club. It's right behind us. Yeah, you know, of course you can go to the restaurants as well, but there's just so many options when it comes to the sort of experience that you can have down here on the island.
And you've also built a lot more places to eat, even when it's raining. You can go outside and
we call them the picnic pods. I don't know what anybody else calls them. We call them picnic pods. These aren't them. These are just traditional picnic tables that we have here all through the sort of the summer and the spring. But we have some really nice covered ones. There's about a dozen, I think, on the island altogether. You can sit about 6 people in there. They protect you from the sun and they protect you from the rain. And then you're outside. So if you're a little bit lacking for seating space on a rainy day, of course, you can bring your wine inside the public market, but if you're a little bit limited for space, grab one of the picnic pods. They're kind of dotted all over the island.
they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, this has been another wonderful journey for us, thanks to you, Kate, here on Granville Island. Of course, just some great stuff going on here on the island, and really enjoyed it. This is the first time I've ever toasted with a bag, so to speak, but cheers. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, tell us how it tastes.
This is mine.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
There's Mr.
This is
Q.
such a great idea.
It's been wonderful.
Straw down there, do you? No.
No, I just don't need a straw. So.
Ah.
Anyway,
Cheers.
Attach it to his wrist.
Cheers. And thanks, Pierre, for the great recommendation of the wine over at the Liberty Wine
Beautiful.
Store. It's really lovely.
Rosa.
come see this great destination, folks, not just in the summer, the fall, but all year long. There's so much to do here. Kate, thank you once again.
My pleasure. Lovely to have you guys
Cheers
down
again.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Well, there we go. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
I'm going to have a little more of this. We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Sponsorship and other promotional considerations provided by Bosa Foods, authentic Italian, with 2 locations to serve you better. More information, go to bosafoods.com. Don't forget to check out past episodes and individual interviews, all on the Our City Tonight YouTube channel. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.